Hello, and welcome to PioStream Watchback. Each episode of this, we will relive a recent memory or game from Pioneers history and have a chance to hear from the student athletes and coaches who are a part of it. I'm Ryan Goff, and in our debut episode today, we're looking back at women's soccer's 2-1 double overtime victory against Willamette last October. And it was a game that came in the middle of one of the best stretches, if not the best stretch, in Lewis and Clark women's soccer history. Now, we are excited on our social media platforms to have two of our existing student athletes with us today, Becca McCullough and Kenny Bigley. And they'll be chatting in the live chat on those platforms and give maybe extra insight or new stories that we didn't capture during the recording, plus an opportunity for you to ask questions of them as well. One thing we always do appreciate being social media is if you do have a chance to hit the like button, that will help us reach more viewers and get the PioStream watch back out to more people. So that's super appreciated as well. So let's do this. Let's relive our very first moment on PioStream Watchback, a chance to relive the women's soccer match from October 30th, 2019, a 2-1 win over Willamette at Griswold Stadium. And we start with some introductions.
Welcome, everybody. Happy to be here with two former players and two current players, and looking back at a wonderful victory against Willamette last year. And my name is Jim Tursi, and the head women's coach here, and I'll pass it on.
Hi, I'm Madi Pastores. I'm from Sherwood, Oregon, and I play center defender, and I'm class of 2023.
Hi, I'm Alexa Hanson. I'm from Alameda, California. I was also a center back. I was class of 2020, so recent graduate. I'll pass it off to Courtney.
Hi, I'm Courtney Schmidt. I'm from Denver, Colorado. I'm a forward, and I'm class of 2021, so this year.
Hello, my name is Ana Saucedo. I'm from La Mirada, California. I was a striker, was also class of 2020.
Tail end of the season. And this was during a stretch where your team basically went, with one loss, down the final like 6, 7, 8 games or so that year. The first question I have as we kind of start watching this is, give me an idea what made the night games fun, because you only got maybe 2 or 3 of them a year, 2 in the conference where you'd play a team, there and here usually. What did you like about the night games?
The night games are always my favorite. I just like playing under the lights and, just kind of looking forward to it all day long and just having something to think about.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's sort of like the mental preparation all day long. You get that anticipation the entire day, and you get to sort of really just hype yourself and the whole team up, and then finally happens at the end of the night, and usually a crowd shows up, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, night games are always fun.
Yeah, I like to. You tend to get like a different kind of energy from the student crowd. It's a little rowdier than I think on the weekends when kids are a little tired to get up in the morning. So also it just feels really crisp in the air. I like that.
I think we were fortunate enough to play Willamette at their place at night, and then we got them back here. So, they beat us in overtime at their place. So it was nice to have a night game and also let them walk away in the dark as we felt it the same way at Willamette.
Yeah, it was kind of like a payback a little bit.
Yeah, knowing that they'll have to bus home past 9.
Yeah, that's the worst.
It for sure felt good to win sort of the same way that we lost earlier in the season. It felt like really a huge turnaround from the beginning of the season to the end, which is exactly what happened. And the 2 games against Willamette really kind of exemplified that.
I think that it was nice that we had, I think this is the third to last game in fourth. They were vying for the conference championship, and we knocked them off, and they were done. Then we were able to do the same to UPS. So we were able to, kind of do some damage to these kids' hopes and dreams as the season went on.
Don't sugarcoat it at all, Jim. Don't hold back.
Jim's a savage.
It seems like they had possession a lot. I don't remember them having possession this much.
That's only the first 3 minutes. I think we got some time. I think we played low pressure, if you remember correctly, a little bit. We kind of let them have possession in the back. So I think once we got to our final third, they weren't as effective.
Cal?
Madi, do you recall anything in the back? Since you're anchoring the back with Letza, anything that you saw back there that was a threat or a player or two?
If I remember right, I think they might have had a fast person up front that we had to communicate about keeping mark. So just being on our game in terms of communication and being on the same page with one another, I think was a challenge for us. Or not a challenge, more of a mindset.
Yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I can remember about Willamette, I believe this was one of those games where we had to really be in coordination with our defensive mids. I think usually it was either Cal or Becca, whoever it was, who was usually marking that quick and mobile player that was really, really a threat for them. And so for Madi and myself, it was really important for us to be super, super good at communicating with Cal or Becca, whoever was on that player. So I think that was probably our biggest, challenge for during that game, but our most important role for this game. Yeah.
Well, let's see how we defend this corner kick. I can't, this is a year ago, so I can't remember. See what happens here. I think that was you, Lex, wasn't it? Clearing it up? Or fouled, yeah.
It's a little blurry. I'm seeing a lot of white uniforms.
That was you that got fouled there. I think cleared it up.
Abby.
Yeah.
Abby.
Abby finished so strong last year. I mean, she really did great last second half of the season.
It's pretty crazy watching us play without masks, having come from practice with having to wear a mask.
I was just thinking that. Look how well we're breathing. Look how much oxygen we're getting.
It's a good double close right there for Kenny coming down. So our marking is very good so far. We're pretty close to all defensively. I think that is the left back is Tara, right? Yeah, Tara's playing back left back. So you see Courtney's all by herself. We basically played low pressure, so Courtney had to play high by herself, and we sat back in. As the game wore on, I believe we got to push 4 people forward more. I think Yulia probably got in, and Kenny got forward a little more. Here goes Kenny now sneaking out. Push forward. Brett got through pretty quick. We had all numbers forward, which is very good there. Just didn't execute the pass. But
I think that was something we did really good towards the end of the season there was, stay patient in the beginning of the game and not get too eager up top, really wait, let the team sort of tire themselves out. And then when we had those opportunities, start to capitalize on them.
So like I said, this was that stretch that kind of started it out with the 0-0 tie George Fox. That was a home game. Then you won at Pacific, lost at PLU, then beat Linfield 4-0 coming into this game. So kind of where was the mindset of the team, knowing that you had a pretty good, stretch, including getting those 3 goals and 4 goals and those, 2 wins over that 3-game stretch to come into this game?
I think we were hyped over Linfield.
Yeah.
We were just on a high from that last weekend. If this is a Wednesday night game, that means we played like 3 days before that. So it was still pretty fresh for us.
Yeah, and I think at this point, we were sort of just meshing together in terms of the plays that we kept practicing and the passing combos, and those started showing up more in our games. So I think things were just coming together for us.
Yeah, I think the first half of the season, we had 5 freshmen that really had a major role on this team, and to get Madi in the game and get Myers in, get Julia in the game, get them kind of working together. it took a little while. Once they got in at the second half of the season, they really made a big difference for the team. Having them part of the group. And that was my assessment. I think, I don't know how the rest of the kids guys feel about it, but I thought that was important to get them, all 5 of them kind of in our group here. Any comments, guys?
Yeah, I mean, obviously freshmen were huge for us this last year. We had a lot of them, and a lot of them were really good and made a huge impact. So that's, yeah, I totally agree. But I also think that, it's been something that I think our team has worked on since I was a freshman. Dealing with loss after loss is really hard mentally. And so I think this last season, we really sort of figured out how to stay positive and continue working hard and improving, even in spite of, drawbacks and setbacks. And, by the second half of the season, I think that really showed, and we, got results because of it.
Yeah, and we had great leadership from our upperclassmen to look to. And I think that really helped motivate us freshmen at the time to sort of rise to the standards that our upperclassmen wanted to play at.
And they did rise. They did a great job all season.
What I've noticed in this game, watching it, how our back line is connected with our midfield is really a good job. Every time we clear a ball out, the back line is pushing forward quickly and it's connecting with that midfield. So we kept that field space, somewhat connected, which I think is really what we did well in the second half of the year. It seemed like that was really a big difference for us. We're not so spread out. So if you watch us go, as I see, obviously, the Bill working with you guys, getting you guys out right away, getting wide, little things like that make a big difference.
I couldn't really see. Did we win that ball? Yeah, looks like we did, right?
Looks like it.
Finally.
Yeah. That's something that we got better at too, coming off goal kicks is winning those out of the air and just winning 50-50 balls.
You can just tell it's Brecklin by the way she plays, like just her movements and all that. It's very distinct. She's so quick in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Yet another freshman who made a huge impact.
Mm-hmm.
So Abby played 106 minutes in this game. It was a stretch where, she was in goal basically every game in that whole stretch. She played all 110 minutes in the 0-0 game with George Fox. And I think other than playing at Puget Sound, she wasn't in that one. So what kind of things did you see from her in goal?
A whole lot of confidence. It was like, obviously she started playing a whole bunch more after Megan hurt her ankle, but you could tell just as she got more and more confident in herself and more comfortable back there and more vocal, like even I could hear a bit, half field. She really grew into the position.
That's exactly the word that came to my head too, was just confidence. Yeah.
Yeah, she has such a presence in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Very reliable.
Yeah, 17 is the one who just threw the ball out to her.
I was going to say, I think that was the girl. She looked familiar. I can remember her being a pretty talented player. That was great there from the 2-4. It was a Courtney, and I can't tell who's out right now, but forcing that ball towards one another, that was good defense right there up front.
I think it's Yulia. Yeah, we're making them play from the back a lot. It's good.
They're not getting through very easily.
Yeah, usually Shelby comes in about 25 in generally, just because we like to put a little speed out there and see if we can open the game up a little bit. So she was always great coming off the bench. Somebody who's played at a high level was able to accept a role. That was a key for us, I think, that she was positive about all that. So I don't know what you guys thought about her, since you guys dealt with her every day, but she seemed.
Oh, love Shelby.
Love Shelby.
Yeah, she's the most positive, best mentality kind of player you could ask for, lifting everybody up, and she's obviously just a raw player, so you can't ask for much more than that.
So Myers
She's so nice all the time.
True.
It's so sweet.
She's definitely a team mom. She's always getting us goodies and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving notes for us. Yeah. Love Shelby.
It is windy out there.
Corners were another thing that we worked on pretty hard towards the second half of the season, setting up how to defend and offend corners. So we'll see how we do here.
Good save. Oh, they scored?
Yeah, it was off a rebound.
That's right.
Unlucky.
Corners was Alexis says we try to work a lot on corners. That was one of our weaknesses.
Of course, after you said that.
It's a good initial save by Abby.
Yeah, the girl just was in the right place at the right time.
That's kind of the goal they beat us up there, I think, in overtime. Wasn't it kind of the same thing, knocked down and came in and scored?
When what? Sorry, I missed that.
When we played them at their place and we lost in overtime. Was it a corner kick that was knocked down and she finished it? Weird.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, the game in Salem, according to what I wrote, they only had 3 shots on goal and they won 2-1 in overtime.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine that's got to be super frustrating, right?
That game we played exceptional. We could have had 3 or 4 goals. I think that game. That's probably one of our better road games of the year.
That was a tough one to lose for sure. Yeah.
So another corner kick, Brian? Is this the same one?
Nope, this is another one.
Okay.
Because they had in the first half, Willamette had. So this is actually the fourth, because they had a 4-1 advantage in corners in the first, total 8-4 in the game.
Now Abby gathered that nice there.
So describe the difference between playing with a 1-goal lead to start versus being down 1-0.
I mean, it's a completely different mentality, like the sort of momentum you get after scoring a goal is just insane. You just want to keep pushing and going, and everyone's so excited, as opposed to getting scored on, which, we've all been there, but it doesn't really get any better the more you get scored on. It's tough to keep your head up for sure, but you have to, you have to tell yourself, okay, 0-0 game, pretend, nothing happened, just keep playing your game, keep working hard. Mm-hmm. Yep. Sounds a lot easier than it is to do.
When you get behind a game and you're not having much success, on the field, then it's very discouraging. Because then you try to say to yourself, man, how are we going to get a goal when we're not even in the game? So I think, as I said, I think most of us felt pretty good that we could score goals. We had enough talent out there, so I think we got a goal down, at least late in the second half of the season. It wasn't like the end of the world, as it was probably like the first 2 years of your sophomore, junior especially, right? We gave a goal up then. We knew it was pretty much over. We needed a shutout. We just didn't have much offense at that time.
Yeah, it's true. I think this last season there was a lot more hope. If you get scored on, there's a lot more hope to be like, okay, we've got this, and actually, believe that. Truly did believe that if you got scored on this last season, especially this game, clearly.
Yeah.
Our preseason really set us up to be confident. Like, really did end up scoring a lot. Set us up nicely for league.
Well, and that happened the next week too at Puget Sound. I think you went down 1-0 there too.
We scored in the last 5 minutes.
Crazy.
That was another great game.
Yeah, that game definitely was about grit, I feel like.
Those are the best games. Like when we are down early and then end up coming back, like that's the best type of win. That's the best feeling.
Yeah, that game too. I remember because that was like their last game or something because everyone was there to watch and everyone was so disappointed when we won.
Which I feel bad about a little bit, but
No way.
It was a great win.
Why that it feels good.
Yeah, I know.
It was weird because we tied it with 5 minutes to go, and the game then ended, and the coach came over. I think it was a tie, and she was so disgusted that they lost a chance to win the conference. Well, the tie said, "Hey, it's not over yet. We have overtime." And she didn't realize it. I said, "If you want, we'll just stop if you like." And I told her, so she had another chance, and then we scored right away, which was amazing. But yeah, they were really. It was a crushing blow to them. They really thought they'd have us. So. Brett was great at taking corners for us. I think I'd be great if whoever's up there, Madi, whoever for Courtney, you up there every time. She drove that ball in there. Really a nice job on corners for us.
Thanks.
Is that more impressive as a freshman?
No. I think we had a right mix of people. If you look at our roster, we had those kids who fly out wide. You have Brad who can handle the ball really well in the middle. Courtney was, she's one that drives everybody crazy on their team. She just irritates everybody on her plays, which is awesome. So you have that right mix of people. The players that can just. They all kind of meshed together pretty well. I thought everybody had a role. They did a nice job in that. So, work ethic was amazing from this group. If Courtney gets free around the box, she's going to get there. Somehow she's determined to get there, which is not always easy. She doesn't back down. So sometimes you get a forward that doesn't like contact, and she'll chase, but she won't want to get mixed up. And so you get that. You get, Cal, who just sits home and just as tough as nails. And then, you bring in Myers, who could hit a ball 50 yards, gets out of trouble. It just was, we had all the right pieces this year. I wish we could have all stayed together for one more year, because I think we're really in a position to really win a conference championship. We just had another year with the same group. So.
Are you inviting me back, Jim?
Well, we're looking at it.
Because I'll come. I'm in Portland.
Please do.
I think absolutely we're tired. We've been working pretty hard. And yeah, considering we just played a game a few days ago, I can't imagine we were feeling totally fresh, but I don't know. It looks like we're still doing well. I don't think that our play is reflecting any sort of exhaustion. So if we are tired, we're not letting it show. So that's good. That's another thing we worked on. I mean, a little bit more this last year was, I think, fitness was a little bit more of a focus, something we all really committed to wanting to improve on. I don't know. What do you guys think? Did that show this year, or was that sort of a non-factor?
I think compared to past years, definitely more of a focus, like team-wide. The beep test was never a requirement, so that really put us into shape this season. It was worth it.
I think also, I don't, maybe you guys help answer this. I'm curious what you think. Going with preseason playing, my thought was that if we played everybody a half in preseason, knowing that we played back-to-back games Saturday, Sundays all for the rest of the season, I always felt that is a grind on any. No college team goes back-to-back. I mean, Division I, whatever. They always play Friday, Sunday mix. And I always felt that just wears and tears on players. So I thought that helped us stay fresher, not getting burned out early in the season. But you can tell me if I'm wrong on that. I was hoping that would be the factor for us to be stronger. I don't know. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, I think it's a tough call to make. I mean, you're absolutely right. I think it for sure keeps players fresh, and you've got fresh legs in the field for the most part for a majority of the game. But it's hard to make that call for you, Jim. And I don't disagree with the call, but you have to sort of decide between like fresh legs and the sort of momentum of the team that's like happening during that half and at that time. And so I'm sure you had to sort of make that call every time. And if we were really gelling and doing well, like, do you pull those players out because they've been playing a half? Do you not? Like that call is a tough one to make. And I don't know, I mean, did you, Jim, you stuck with that player half thing, even if we were, the players were doing well, right? Just to sort of take that through.
My philosophy at the start of the year was that I thought Saturday, Sunday games are just hard on the team, just in general. I know it's hard. You play every minute, like you play every minute, every play. It's like, it's kind of wear on you, I would think. So I took that, but also I thought it was important for the team to feel like they were part of the team. My thought was if everybody played a half and with other people, they got an opportunity to show themselves up being pulled right away, and I thought it helped. And I'm hoping it would help just them feel good about themselves and be part of the group. And again, I'm not sure if it did or not. I didn't take preseason as important to us as a league. I thought preseason, yes, we want to win all games, but I just felt like for the long-term health of the team, I thought maybe it's best if everybody got a chance to show themselves.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. The logic makes sense to me.
But it's hard to, like you, Lex, I felt terrible taking some players out that, usually lead the team or captains. And, it was a hard decision, but I thought it was for the best for the group. I just played that way.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, we saw some things just in the last 5 minutes or so, one of which was here in this call, at least 6 of the team's 11 yellow cards are represented, 5 of which came from Courtney this year. And you got one just a moment ago for the Northwest Conference leader in yellow. And I don't know how you take that.
I think I don't take it negatively or positively, I mean, it's probably more of a negative, but it is what it is.
I actually didn't know that. That's pretty funny.
Courtney's an aggressive player.
Sorry.
No, I was just saying she's an aggressive player. So, I mean, like, it happens,
Yeah.
I would say,
As long as she's playing the game,
I would say there's good yellows and bad yellows, and Courtney's probably had more good yellows than bad. But I think she knows it when she gets yellow for either a really late cheap shot or mouthing off. But when she does it in a hard tackle, that's a good yellow. Because that sets a tone for it. That's what I was saying earlier, that she is so aggressive, and you need players like that. You got to have a player that's nasty, that you just don't want to face up. And again, I think probably Courtney's yellows, I think probably a couple of them were when she probably wished she didn't take. But most of them were deserved and helped us, I think.
Oh, I know for a fact she was in the heads of some of those defenders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I never like intentionally, you know what I mean, like go for like such a foul to deserve a yellow. And I think some of them don't deserve yellows. I actually think, you know, a lot of them were a little soft on the calls, but again, it is what it is. I mean, I will say, Jim, I admit that some of them I do regret. I probably didn't need to happen, but
Bring it here, folks.
Well, I think, Courtney, maybe I'm wrong or mistaken. We didn't have you for, I think, UPS game because you had too many yellows. 5th yellow, right? Right. 5 yellows, you had to sit out, I think, UPS game. Is that correct?
yeah, I think I did, huh?
Yeah. And I think if one of those two that really, as I say, you regret, that would have kept, if you had 4 the whole year, perfect. You don't miss a game. But when you get that, you know, that's what I'm saying.
You got to be strategic with the yellows.
Exactly.
So I said, oh, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Didn't that happen with Caitlin the previous year? She was like worried about her yellows. Or no, she was worried about her yellows adding up year to year, something like that. Does anyone else remember that? She was worried about not getting to play at the beginning of this year.
Oh yeah, I'd never heard that before, but
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's real
out.
or not, but anyways. Go ahead, Ryan.
I was just going to say, I said 7 of 11 are in the call. Who had the other 2?
Cards? You know?
Yeah, the other 2 yellow cards out of this group that's here.
Probably
Definitely not me.
Bill had one, I think.
Yeah.
I have 2 for Alexa.
Really?
Really?
This last season? Huh. Must have repressed those.
Yeah, according to the conference has, Courtney led with 5. Alexa and Becca each had 2 apiece. So Lewis and Clark had 3 in the top 7. But I'm curious, does that mean like aggressive and physical? Is that like a reflection of something that you felt was like you're the good yellow and you know that aggression where that's a signal of maybe that's the case?
Lex, I think in your case, I think you were. It wasn't a bad foul that you committed. I think it was wasn't the aftermath like you said something to the referee. Was yours more verbal?
Probably. That sounds about right. I don't remember the 2 of them, but I was surprised if one of them was trying to talk to the referee and they took it as back talk. But
Lex is too cerebral. She's not a dirty player at all. But it would have been that. But Becca would be bad yellow cards. Becca usually gets frustrated and kicks somebody just for the hell of it. So usually I know Becca's 2 were not good. But, you know, I say Courtney's are good usually. Becca wasn't. And I think Alexa was just trying to protect her team in a sense of or call. So hers was more verbal, which is fine. Those are minor. That's how I look at it.
you just don't expect them from Becca either because she's just so little in the midfield and all of a sudden she takes someone out.
Tabletops the girls.
Yes.
Yeah, no, she's a strong player. She's a you know, if you're not on our team, you're playing against her, you're not going to expect Becca because she's, you know, appears littler on the field. You don't expect that kind of power from her as a player, but she's strong and she's sturdy and she's not going to move unless you really shove her. So she's a really awesome presence in that middle there. Same with Cal, same thing.
Yeah, we're going to miss Cal in the midfield this year, I think, just having that rock and just, like, honestly, the mental rock, too, just all of us knowing that she's in there and, you know, she's there if we need her. But I'm excited to see who else will be in that role.
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of kids who've been waiting their turn for Cal to leave. I mean, so just take 2 steps up there. Now we don't see Anna in this yet. She's the star of the show here at the end, but Anna she played every position that I asked her to do for 3 years. It was crazy how much she gave us. I mean, every position. I think Anna, besides goalkeeper, we didn't put you in. But I was so happy to see you get the game winner, because I think, for all the work you've done for all those years, to have a highlight like that was awesome.
Yeah, those will be nice to relive. I just a blur. I really don't remember, so I'm excited.
Anna's another player who reminds me a little bit of Shelby, just in the sense that, she's always working hard, she's always positive, and like anything she does, like everyone is stoked about. So when Anna scores, we all flipped out. That was so fun. I mean, from center defense, watching Anna, the girl who I've loved since freshman year, score that goal. Oh man, I sprinted so fast up to like jump on top of her. That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna screen record whenever this happens.
The game seems like it's settled a little bit. There's nothing happening either side per se right now.
And then, Jim, I heard you say it when Brecklin took that shot dead center that was saved just above the goalie. But you said something like, nice shot. I think that was after they scored their goal. I mean, you had all the shots the rest of that first half. And
I think we talked about that earlier, Ryan, that, it's, in the past we would give a goal, but we all kind of knew it's over. And we don't, and now this year it was like, no, it's not going to end. We're going to find one somewhere. And there's a belief in that. You have to have that. But you have to believe that because you see it on the field in practice every day. I think, the little things you do in practice every day allows you to believe that you've got players that can break people down or, make that shot when you need it. And it doesn't happen just because you want to happen. You have to see it day to day. At least I feel that way. I felt that way. That's how I looked at it. I see them in practice every day. And I see that our touches are getting better. We spend a lot of time on just monotonous type stuff. But to me, soccer is all about the basics. And if you can't get a first touchdown, everything else breaks down. So, but yet, soccer's a weird game. You can dominate and not score a goal, but I think we at least believe we could.
There was that boot for Myers, that iconic boot.
Yeah, that was big for us. It really helped us, I think, get out of trouble a lot of times. And it freed you, Lexa, too, out wide, which I think was I know you probably didn't want to be moved out wide, but it gave us that you were able to play. You could play soccer, you could move up quickly, you could get, create like Jezza did. You and Jezza were dynamite out wide, I thought.
Yeah, which I agree with, but I'm not at all ashamed to say Myers has a much better boot than I do. So he for sure could have been taking those free kicks from the back. I'm proud of her. I'm happy that she took that role on, helped the team out immensely.
I've never seen a girl with a kick like Myers. It's insane.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I feel like we talked about it a little bit, but at halftime, so going in the locker room down 1-0, it sounds like you kind of felt like in a lot of ways you outplayed them in that first half. They just happened to score. What were your thoughts going in the locker room, Jim, and then I'll follow with the players?
Well, I try, soccer for me, it's trying to see where we can improve on. I don't recall. I'm sure we came in halftime thinking, hey, we're in this, we showed some good things. I don't know what adjustments we made or anything else. I'm very much a day later person to react to things. Because to me, I get very caught up in a game. So maybe somebody that can remember what was said, probably not much.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't remember exactly either, but just based off what we were watching, my bet is that we probably went into the locker room feeling pretty good, considering how we played. It was just one of those things, like you said, they got an unfortunate goal off of a corner kick that, girl was in the right place at the right time. But I think we all did feel like we were playing well and outplaying them, and we were getting chances. And I think we were optimistic and excited to start that second half for the most part.
And it's weird because I agree with all of that. And when we go into half being down 1-0. It's kind of like a mix of emotions, at least for me. Like, I'm both extremely frustrated that we're obviously down when we're playing so well, you know what I mean? But then also, like what you said, just so excited to like continue our momentum when we get back out there, and kind of obviously filling the gap of the frustration and the excitement and making something happen.
Yeah, I feel like that was a consistent feeling in the halftime room. Like, I feel like we often knew something good was coming, you know? So we were never too down, which I think was good for us, you know?
We had many opportunities in the first half too. And so it's like a weird feeling, but you like know that a goal's coming just based on how we were playing. It's leaving the locker room. It's like, I know it's going to happen, and it's just a matter of when for us, especially with the preparation that we put into this.
And I think saying that is because we were having success 3 or 4 days before that. We were winning games coming from behind, or, you know, so it wouldn't be a surprise. We were seeing that happen. And that's, I think, made a big difference when you're a top team, when you're in a top tier of a league. It's because you have success, and success breeds confidence, and you just feel it's going to happen. Yeah, it may not one day, but you don't lose that, you know. So I think that's what we came in at halftime, knowing that we played well enough to get a goal, and yet I think we were. I think there was a few tackles out there Courtney made. They were scared of us more than we were of them. I think as the game went on, we were the more of the aggressive team, and I think that plays a part in a game like that. Because I always tell kids, it's 90 minutes. Most goals happen in the last 5 or 10 minutes anyway. So you just got to stay with it, and you know, if you're feeling good about yourself, good things usually happen. So.
It's such a mental game.
I'm Casey Jones, and I teach a range of classes: general chemistry, organic chemistry, and also some advanced classes. And I have a research lab that currently I have 4 students working with me as part of the Rogers program. The summer experience is a way to get really deeply involved in the science that is here and be able to start to define what might be what you want to do next. So the brown bag gives our students a chance to explain their research and really show the context and the application of what they're doing to a very broad range of students and faculty.
It's interesting to be able to communicate to other scientists what your work is, and it forces you to learn how to talk about your subject so that not only experts in your field can understand it, but others can understand it as well, which I just believe is a good life skill.
To talk about your research in a way that anybody can understand it really is a valuable experience, and it's something that you don't get a lot of practice for except in these contexts. Because oftentimes you're giving a presentation to a classroom filled with people who know basically the same things that you do, but in a brown bag, you have to be able to explain and provide motivation for everything that you're working on and why it's important and why it's relevant to be studying.
Yeah, all fantastic players. I mean, that was another thing that we really had going for us this year, was the fact that, you know, our starters were great, but our bench was also great. So, you know, when our girls did get tired or injured, you know, we had the backup to, you know, keep that momentum, and it wasn't like, oh God, here we go. Okay, we just lost our most critical player. No, like all of us were critical players, which is huge.
Yeah, I think that goes back to that component of Jim's decision to put in some fresh legs. Like, it really does pay off all the time.
Yeah.
And I think just having that trust in our teammates, I mean, just kind of contributed to the chemistry that we had on the field and off the field too, I guess. But just being able to know that no matter who's on the field, they can get the job done. Like, does a lot for a team.
It might be difficult to talk about. Jim might have a better perspective than any of us just because we're not midfielders. But I think, you know, our midfield, you know, we had the 3 in the triangle shape in the middle there, and we had, I think, 3 separate groupings of those 3 positions, right? Or was it always sort of connected with Cal? I don't remember. But they did awesome this last season. Both groups were so tight and clean, and for the most part, like, super reliable. It made me and Maddie's and the rest of the defense's job a lot easier.
Oh yeah, and like the midfield is definitely, I think, makes or breaks teams. Because if you can't connect through the middle, there's no transition. Even if we do win from the back, and they were just so connected with each other. Yeah.
Yeah, I looked at Anji. To me, she found her voice in a way in this game and other games towards the end of the season. She really understood, I think, what she needed to do to be a factor for us. And you're right, this game was, I think, very important. I think she was probably really the big difference. I already watched her already just a few minutes, and she just like I was, just running like crazy, just going at people. So, and Angelina too. So, you just gotta find yourself sometimes, and it's hard to break in because you don't necessarily know what to do or what I expect of them, what the team expects from you. So sometimes it takes longer for others. And Cal, of course, is such an anchor for 4 years. It's difficult to get in the game. I had a hard time getting Cal out of the game because she plays such a major role. And Maddie's response about the midfield really is, to me, the midfield is the engine for any team. I mean, you really have to defend in that position and also attack. So, for Ange, I think it took her so many years to get a chance, but I think she's proved herself. I was looking forward to this year, her take the role over for Cal. I think she was too. So, we'll see.
Talk about exhaustion. That position, you get exhausted. I have some serious respect for any girl who plays center midfield because that's a hard position.
Jim, is there any extra get up when you play Willamette for any reason?
To be honest with you, it does. I really, maybe the first year, I mean, I don't know. It's just so close. I was there for 17 years. In my first year at LC, it was only 2 years after that. So, but to be honest with you, I didn't. To me, I'm LC. I don't even think of it. I mean, the kids I had my first year at LC was crazy. These kids I had were the sweetest kids. No, again, they weren't very good soccer players. The team never won any games when I got there. But they were just the sweetest kids. And I'm probably in touch with them more than anybody else in all the teams I've coached over 30 years. Because they just, I knew what I was going to get, what was going to happen. They knew they weren't going to win any games. And I think we just had a great time. And that's rare for me as a coach who's been very competitive my whole life to kind of accept that role. I knew that going in. And my goal was to get people like, down the road, like Alexa, Cal, and Courtney, kids that want to win and compete. It's just a different vibe, but I would say, going back to your question about Willamette, no, Willamette. I was at UP, women's coach there too. I don't have any. We played them when I was at Willamette. I didn't have anything to say. I don't know. I move on.
Io till you die, right, Jim?
Yeah.
Rivalries? Was there a team for you as student athletes that just was always the team that you got up for just a little bit more?
I mean, POU, I think, for our team, I think that always kind of lights us up a little bit just because, it's POU. And at least I always get excited to play George Fox. Something about it, I don't know.
I would say in terms of actual rivalries where we always contend with the teams, and it's always a really great game. George Fox, like you said, Court, it's always a good one. I think Linfield we usually contend with. PLU is a different kind of mentality. They're a great team, and so we don't always, put up the best fight against them, but we always are fired up when we play them because, they're usually always top of the conference. So exciting. But I don't know, who else? Do you guys feel like we have rivalries with any of the other teams?
I feel like I enjoy playing Whitman. It wasn't always a rivalry, but I don't know. I just had fun those games because I feel like we do play really well against them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like playing Whitman too. I agree with that. It kind of felt like a little bit of a rivalry. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or at least more intense, at least for me. I don't know why.
This is Jez, I think, here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh,
That was a hit. I remember when she like went down, I was like, well, that's a big part of the roster.
well, I remember when she came off the bench, like when she came on the bench, I was there sitting next to her, and you know, she wasn't freaking out. She was really calm. She's like, yeah, it kind of hurts right here and right here, but it wasn't like a, oh my gosh, you just tore your ACL. And I don't know, she was very composed and held herself together very well.
Yeah, every year I see why somebody goes down. It's such a, it's just hard to, it used to happen, but it's never feels good. I think Ashley did it, was it 2 years ago, right, Lex? I think Ashley, you were a freshman year, maybe Ashley had hers. Somebody every year it goes down. It's just a shame, really is.
Yeah.
And for us, when you see that, I think everybody knew that she probably did her ACL there. Yet we all continue to play, which is awesome. We could put our heads down and just be, either we play harder because of that. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys remember that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's hard to see your teammate, your friend go down like that, so that's discouraging in that sense. But, as bad as it sounds, it's part of the game. It's part of sport. You can't let it affect you.
Luckily, I was able to play club and play with players that were older than me through like different summer programs I had with my club. So like college players would come back and play with us. So I had an idea of what college soccer was, but I mean, I think during preseason definitely solidified what was expected of me and my role for the team. And I think, everyone's really good. And so keeping myself to the same standard was definitely the goal.
Playing at Sherwood High School also, you guys were state finalists, weren't you, Maddie?
Yeah, we had one state championship while I was there, and a few league champs.
Maddie's high school coach played for me at Willamette, so her high school coach, and then this year, so actually I've been around. Jen Baez, who's a freshman this year for us, her cousin played for me at Willamette. So I'm doing second and third generation.
Yeah, that was crazy when I learned that she played for you, Jim.
Yeah.
I wish
There it is. Oh,
Cross from Julia.
They're called Courtney.
look at her, little Shelby.
That was a great finisher.
Julia's assist was awesome.
Yeah.
Makes it look so easy.
I know, seriously. Look at that. We had two people there, too, could have got there.
Shelby was one of the best to run all the way through to the back post. Like, she was always there.
Mm-hmm.
She was definitely a true winner. I mean, she gave us so much space, and she knew how to play that position really well. I mean, playing at high level, playing UP 1 year, you see that she picked up a lot of stuff there. It's off the ball stuff that she was able to do for us.
Evaluate our ball shaggers.
The baseball boys always do a good job when they're the ones shagging.
Best in the conference?
I mean, they're up there for sure. They gotta be.
I'm a little biased, but I'd say so.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not many other schools that have to hurdle a fence and go down a ravine occasionally.
Dedication.
And they do it so easily. They just hop the fence and disappear. Truly, they just drop down the whole hill.
I'll ask you guys, players, what field did you enjoy playing most on, besides ours? I mean, is there a place you really enjoyed playing
I think Whitworth had a good field because it was grass, but it was really well kept grass. It was short and it was, easy to pass on. Granted, it was like a weird shape. It was like wasn't really wide and a little bit short and kind of slanted. But I liked the grass at Whitworth.
Was it roll grass?
I don't hate George Fox's field either. It's just like pretty good turf.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, ours is up there.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the whole
Yeah, in the conference easily.
You're not gonna lie.
Linfield is the worst.
By far.
Now they just put turf in.
Oh,
They-
greatness.
They'll have turf in. They do have turf now in there, so they're turfed in.
That's really
Thank
exciting.
God. Sarah
Well-
always comes in with just a ton of energy. Every time she steps on the field, it's like very apparent that she is wanting to be there and ready to put everything she has into it.
Yeah. That's a girl who works hard and she's got something to prove. Every time she steps on that field, she knows it's an opportunity to show what she's got, and she, for the most part, uses it. So, super great asset for us. And she's going to continue to be for the rest of her time at LC.
And I think, she's really an outside midfielder. We put her outside back that year, which was a big move for anybody to change positions. And, she was able to do a lot of things that, especially the left foot on the outside, that we needed. So she could attack from that position. So she's outside midfielder really by heart. So it came very naturally to defer it forward. So she was really more of an offensive defender in a sense for us. That was kind of nice to have. I think she struggled learning how to play defense, but I give her credit. I mean, we threw her in the mix there. Not easy to do. And maybe Lex, you can speak. You first half of the season, you had to cover sometimes for, or Madi or any of you guys. It's difficult when you play an outside midfield and you got to play defense. It's a different role. But energy, she has tons of energy, no doubt.
Yeah, I'll give Sarah credit. I mean, coming from my perspective, I think Sarah and I have a really great relationship. And she, at least with me, took direction really well. If a play happened and I saw something that could have been different, I'll let the play out. And then when there's a minute, I'll call her over and say, hey, next time, do this. And she's like, got it, on it. Okay, now I know. Really easy, perfect communication, and it just made it really easy on me to know that I can tell her what to do next time, and she's going to do it.
Kenny and Brett, I mean, they seem to be, especially early in the season, Brett was trying to find Kenny a lot of times when she gets the ball in the middle, and she was just naturally the sisters. Kenny is a true flyer. I mean, she loves the ball to run onto the ball more than at her feet. That's where her strength is. I mean, you get her running and then play through to her, that's where she's going to excel at. And her sister's just really the opposite. She loves to play at her feet. I mean, could be two different people there. But they do complement each other. I've seen some great passes that Brett gives Kenny, some through balls, and she just knows how to find her. So
I agree. They definitely have a connection, and they're like the same person. They act the same. They have the same humor. It's just funny watching them interact together.
Yeah, it was a real treat having the Bigley sisters on the team this year. They're a lot of fun and both phenomenal players.
Yeah, I think Breck added a lot to the middle with her ball control. I think she played really well, not just off of Kenny, but also Cal. Cal's like really sturdy, but Breck was able to control and like really move the play forward. So it was really cool to see her gain confidence throughout the season too, and start to get comfortable playing with other players too.
I think Kenny's also stepped up as a leader, being a captain, especially having Lex and Cal leave. I feel like she's really filled that role and make sure that she's an example to follow for the rest of us.
you see Lex flying back in the camera here. She's just made a great run at the right side. This is what I think, like Sarah, Lex, they can get forward so quickly. And a threat to the defense when the defender's coming at you. I remember like I think you got really going in this game. It seemed like you were getting forward a lot, trying to score or create something, trying to win this game for us.
Oh yeah, doesn't happen often, but when it does.
I know. I think this game you saw something there. You really got to try to make something happen.
I wanted it. Yep.
That just means Madi has to cover for you. That's all it is. Right, Madi? Yeah.
Got it.
I know it.
Not even worried.
See, we're starting to win all the battles. The defenders are coming up winning those 50-50 challenges, and it puts pressure on the other team when you constantly, they can't get out. Look at Shelby had a great run. Look at that run. Oh, really just got on the top of it, but it was a good play.
I do think, for the most part, we have been historically a second half team. We really start to want it and push, and our second half is usually better than our first. You guys agree with that?
Yeah, and I also just remember feeling that energy. It really does just amp us up. At a certain minute, once the clock starts ticking, we just kind of all shift our energy offensively, and it pays off a lot.
Yeah, the pressure kicks in, and we're like, all right, we know we can do it. Let's get it done. Now is the time. We're not trying to go to overtime.
I'm going to start taking more risks.
And here's another, for example, Cal win in the middle, and we got Julia free. Let's see what we do here. Good defense. Defended that well.
That was a great example of how Cal can just turn a play up out of nothing.
Yeah, the creativity and the
Nice showing our skills here. Nice job, Lex.
Thanks.
And Myers boots over the top. But we're winning it. Most 50-50 ball, we're winning most of the balls. We're playing really well right here. We're not getting the goals, but we're creating opportunities for us to.
The midfielders, Cal, Breck, every single one of them, the creativity and the ability to distribute up to our forwards has been incredible. That one that we just saw right there was a great example.
So you can feel free to stop discussing this next question if something happens. But I'm curious, we're talking with two recent graduates, right, whose collegiate career is over. And then we're talking to returners who right now are kind of in this stalemate with the pandemic, right? So how weird is it to watch in those two scenarios?
I miss playing.
Yeah, for me, it's a little sad watching this. I really hope we get back to that.
And we haven't played since, we didn't even have a spring practice season. So, it's been months.
Just being able to, have that physicality, even practicing now, obviously we're so grateful to be having any trainings right now, but we can't have any contact or anything like that. So just being able to actually, play and compete more, it's fun to watch, to remember what it's like.
Yeah, personally, it's kind of surreal. It just feels like another, it feels like a long time ago. Really wasn't that far long ago, but yeah, I definitely feel y'all. I miss it.
I think for Anna and I, it's probably similar to any other alumni, recent alumni experience. We're done playing, and now it's just sort of really sad because we're not on the team anymore. But I can't even imagine how the girls, Courtney, Madi, and the rest of the team are feeling because of this super strange circumstance. And I know we're doing the right thing for the greater good, but I hope that it's resolved soon so the girls can get back to this. This is awesome.
Y'all are so good at holding the line. We caught so many people off.
We got better at that once we, had played together for a while.
It's from Lex, honestly.
Get up! Push up!
Yeah. But it's effective,
No, I let them lose my voice more often. But I had a thought talking about Abby too. As phenomenal as she is, and she absolutely is, the other two keepers that we've got on the team, Megan and Millie, it wasn't always like, we didn't always know who was going to start and who was going to play and, why. Like, they definitely switched back and forth between who was the starter and who was, backup, and they pushed each other so much. And they're all such great keepers, and I think for us in the back, it was definitely comforting to know that we had three girls who we could trust back there.
All very different in style. I mean, they're all different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I remember right, it was, I think, kind of AC kind of won the job for a while, and then she got hurt or she had a bad game, and then Abby got in there, and Abby just wouldn't give it up. I mean, she just had shutouts, and she won the position just by her playing, I think. And I think you guys in the back must have felt comfortable with her too, I think, at that point, knowing that she's there. But you're right about the question. Any three of those could have came in and did a good job. We have another goalie this year, freshman came in, Sophia, who looks exceptional too. So we still have three very good goalies, I think, this year.
Yeah, just from the few shots she's taken in practice, I mean, again, all three of them have been looking really, really good.
Yeah. When we beat UPS, now, knowing if anybody knows Becca is kind of quiet. And, I mean, we beat UPS, and Becca comes running over out of the blue and just jumps on top of me like, who are you? What are you doing? The strangest thing, just running from Becca, which, as everybody knows, she's kind of quiet and, would not show that side of her at all, which was, to me, was a little surprising. Which was nice. It was great, but it was like, whoa, Becca. It's meant a lot to you, this game. So.
That's a good one. I also remember from that same game, probably the same time period, I think, was it Abby who was kicking right off the bench? And we saw it from the camera up top. She comes running off the bench, go hug Julia and, overtime goal, woohoo, trips and just eats it, pops back up and like nothing happened. Oh my goodness, it was so funny.
She will never let that down.
No, she's never.
We won't let her.
We rewatched that probably a million times. That was good.
Hi, I'm Nick Lombardi. Something I've learned at Winterim this year is how to communicate a vision.
My biggest takeaway from Winterim is probably the networking. Getting to talk to everybody, connect with people for the future is one of the most valuable things, and I did Winterim last year, came back for more this year.
I think a way in which my liberal arts education has really helped me and my group formulate our ideas is that concept of critical thinking and having many different backgrounds, me being an econ major and my two group mates being chemistry majors. We really get that well-rounded background, well-rounded ideas.
I think overall it's absolutely worth doing. You find yourself not only being more prepared for, say, this next semester, on top of being more prepared for life in general.
At least for me, I mean, yeah, by minute 100, you're dead, like you're exhausted. But I also think, at least my mentality is always like, you literally have 10 more minutes left. Like you have to push for 10 more minutes and then you're done. So it's kind of like a all or nothing type situation.
And something we always say, like in the huddle before we go back out onto the field for, first or second overtime, is always like, let's get it done early. So everyone's mentality is, okay, let's try and make this as short as possible. So that's even more motivation to get that ball in the back of the net and, stop running around. So, yeah.
Also just goes by so fast. Like those 10 minutes somehow swift, like go right by your face, and You just got to switch it up, and time's almost out.
Mhm. Yeah, I do always feel like once I'm in the game, once we've started, the clock does tick super fast, and by the time it's over, or by the time it's almost over, the exhaustion, I don't even recognize it because we're just pushing so hard and the intensity is so high. I don't even think about
it's like
being
one of those don't think about situations, and you'll be good.
Yeah. And this is like golden goal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's also an additional motivator.
Yeah.
Knowing that this will be the end of the game once you finally score.
Right. Which I honestly have mixed feelings about, the rule for golden goal. So I feel like I've played in different leagues throughout my life where it was not golden goal, it was for time, like if you got scored on during overtime, you still had a chance to, come back from it. So I don't know, do you guys have an opinion on that golden goal rule?
I
kind of like it.
Yeah.
I prefer giving us the time because I feel like crazy things have happened,
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows if you have a little more time, what will happen?
That's true. There's both sides to it.
Yeah, and I think that, just experience-wise at LC, I'm sure we've had our fair share of getting scored on in an overtime for golden goal where we're like, crap, we were playing well, we were right there, and they got lucky at the end, And that it stinks to lose on golden goal, but it feels great to win.
I was going to say, it kind of depends on if you got the golden goal or not. I mean, if we didn't get it, I'm sure we needed that extra 20 minutes. But every time we did get it, we're like, thank God, let's get out of here. That's it.
Right.
Way to get it.
Is it an offside call?
Offsides again.
Heck yeah.
My girl's mad.
Mad.
I know for Myers during overtimes, since she takes all of those big kicks, she definitely feels it.
Oh yeah.
And her quad is.
Yeah. Cannot
I mean, when you're
commend
hitting
enough.
60-yard balls. We should introduce her to low seed and get a new kicker.
Yeah.
Dual sport athlete.
Oh, is this
Cheap.
Yeah, soft.
Talking
Look at you, still going.
This comes a card.
No card?
Yeah, that's what
There's
I
one of
said.
your cards. I didn't even
That's
see
what I
it.
said. I just because you were saying something.
You know what? I think this might have been, correct me if I'm wrong, it might have been a different team, but I remember a girl who would just, against everyone, she sort of moved around on the field, but for everyone, if there was someone behind her and the ball came to her, she flopped so hard forward, even if you're not touching her, and the ref called it every single time. And it happened to me, and it was like the third time it had happened, and I just had enough, and I think
It's this girl here, 17.
so
She flops.
that probably was it right there. She'd been flopping all game. I had enough of it, and I got
How to
yelled.
justify it.
Yeah, I think that's been probably unnecessary, but
Kind of just like getting warm and to the same level and revibing with the team, I think is the big thing. And yeah, but the point at that point, you just gotta put all you can on the field because there's little time there.
That'd be
So
great. Thank you.
it's a really simple one-time goal.
I mean, Anna's a huge playmaker too. So I mean, and everyone else in our friend line are great and opportunistic. So having anybody up there would have been great, but you can definitely see a shift when certain players are in different positions.
Yeah, there's definitely it's like less stressful when Anna's in there almost. Like she's just so calm on the ball and like just doesn't freak out or anything like that. She keeps herself very composed at all times.
All I can think about is Fort Myers' leg.
Did you see her like shivering before the last free kick? She was like shaking. She was so cold.
Oh man, why don't I remember it being that cold?
I don't either.
Girl, you were running.
Oh man.
There it is.
Yeah, baby. Oh, look at them. That's it.
Aw,
Yeah.
man.
Friendship.
I'm getting emotional. Where's the replay?
I know, I got the chills. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
Placement.
Side netting.
It's beautiful.
Oh.
It was so
That's
right
That's
there.
definitely a great thing about Golden Goal is that you're able to just celebrate once
Yeah.
it happens.
yeah. Whole team comes off the bench. Yeah. Pretty cool.
As you look at those last, games of the season, kind of from this point on, did you think this game helps you parlay into the next game and win it, or are they more separate than that?
Oh, 100%. They're totally connected. I mean, the momentum that you get from a win like that, especially against a team that you lost to like that earlier in the season, like, of course, you're going to keep that momentum going. That excitement is going to ride into the next week into practice and obviously the next game. So I think absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. It's like addicting, once you get that, you're like, oh, let me get some more. Like, especially when you work that hard for it, when you have to push 120 minutes, get it done, like, you're willing to do anything else to win every other game.